Hey, welcome to the Jann Arden podcast and show. I'm here with Caitlin Green and Sarah Burke as always. And what a day it is. We are excited because this is one of our favorite episodes.
We are bringing back the Ask Us Anything. You got a song for that?
Ask us anything, anything, anything. Ask us anything, and we will be here for you.
Listen to
now.
that
reverb. Thank you. Well, you know, I've been working on it. I went to bed last night and I'm thinking, Sarah's going to ask me for a song for the Ask Us Anything. So here we are. And you know what? This really is exciting because we hear from you. We hear about what you guys want to know. And gosh, if I was a 15-year-old being able to ask people stuff that I heard on the radio, or I would flip out. Did you guys ever request songs on a radio? Did you ever try and phone in and get your songs requested when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. One time I got through for a request and I will never forget it. I was walking on air for 2 weeks after that. We've got Jan Richards on the line. Jan, what song do you want to hear today? Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft by Karen Carpenter. Could I have picked a weirder song by the Carpenters?
That's crazy.
And,
what is that song?
Well, it was a song by Claw 2. It was like a band from the 70s, and then the Carpenters did it. Calling occupants of interplanetary craft. Do you remember that at all?
No. We're showing our age.
I know,
here.
but look at. I mean,
you look great.
Look just as young as you guys right now today.
For sure.
I just don't know that song at all. But also, I never grew up with my parents listening to the Carpenters. And honestly, I don't think I even know one song by them. Probably.
Guys, we got some questions about music. One that even mentions Karen Carpenter. And
well, we need to do that.
Voice note. So we got a couple voice notes here. Let's start with a voice note. We'll read a bunch of our posts too, though. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Jan, Sarah, and Caitlin. I am Daniel, and I am calling from Toronto, but I'm originally from the East Coast. I hail from PEI, and I'm actually just wondering, what musical tastes did you guys get from your parents? I am a big fan of a lot of Canadian artists. I love Anne Murray and Jann Arden, of course, and Sarah McLachlan, but I'm also a huge fan of people like Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, and Roxette. So as you can see, I've been raised by parents who grew up in the 80s, but would love to know what artists that you guys grew up with or still love now. Also would love to say a big thank you to you guys for your show and continue the great work, because it's something that
Oh, Daniel cut out early. But
I love Daniel.
Well, listen, we totally got the gist of it. Caitlin, over to you. What music growing up? Parents, influences?
My parents listened to a lot of soul music, a lot of blues music, but there was also, you know, my mom, they loved Simon and Garfunkel. My mom loved Annie Lennox and the Eurythmics. I think I used to run around in a diaper trying to sing Born in the USA, and I would just sing Born, like Bruce Springsteen for sure. But they did listen to a lot of soul music. It was not uncommon to just have that playing all the time. And I find soul music very soothing, very feel good. So yeah, that would sort of be my default. I love Marvin Gaye. I love Sam Cooke. I love Aretha Franklin. If Chain of Fools comes on, like, I dare you to be in a bad mood when that song comes on.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Chain of Fools.
So it's amazing.
You want me to go next, or you want to go next?
Yeah, I sure do.
Jen?
No.
Okay. So I inherited my dad's vinyl collection, and if I told you how many Little River Band albums I have in there, it's ridiculous. The guy had such a thing for Little River Band. Some Springsteen was in there, some Hendrix, but he's also like a Bocelli guy, Andrea Bocelli.
Oh yeah.
That I remember hearing in the house growing up, and I remember being like, this is so not cool. Like, what are you guys playing? My mom, on the other hand, is really not a musical person, and this has shocked me from day one. I remember asking her like what her favorite band was or some of her favorite songs. Like, I was trying to dig into it, and every answer was, I don't have one. I was like, have you ever been to a concert? Yeah, I saw the Rolling Stones once. Like, no big deal. But
wow.
I think my mom has catered to her environment, like chameleon-like most of her life.
And your dad was probably more in charge of that.
I think so. But I know she liked the Bocelli. I know that. So that's a little bit about me. I feel like we've heard a lot about yours, but maybe give us something we haven't heard,
my
Jan.
mom and dad we had a radio that was bolted underneath the counter, and that was kind of it was to make space in your kitchen counter. So this thing bolted under the ledge, and it was on 24/7. It actually drove me mental because when mom and dad were watching TV, the effing radio would still be playing, like really quietly.
ADHD.
And
No.
Yeah,
it just was kind
overstimulation
of going. And I
central.
said, "You guys don't hear that? Like, does it not bug you to have the radio on while you're listening to?" Well, I can't even hear it. I didn't even hear a thing.
Oh my
So I was always like clicking that off. But my dad listened to Roger Whittaker. He listened to Gordon Lightfoot. He listened to Crystal Gale. He liked Zamfir, the panpipe, hoo, 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 like that whole panpipe thing. That was big. He had that blasting in his car.
Oh my god.
There's something that's a bit of a weird juxtaposition with a guy in a blue Ford pickup out in Springbank, Alberta, listening to Zamfir as he drove around. But my mom, she loved all the Bette Midler and Olivia Newton-John. My mom loved a good beat. Well, I like anything with a good beat. So really, that's my influences were very, very broad. And of course, not to make fun of the Columbia Record Club, I learned more about music from the records that we got from that outlet over like 7 or 8 years that we actually got those albums, because they send you their choices.
Yeah.
And it wasn't based on an algorithm. It was just based on what they had in the warehouse. You picked your 10 and then you got one that you didn't pick. But oh my God, the music that I was exposed to was unbelievable. So thank you, Columbia House. You guys were the original Amazon of music. And it really changed the course of how I saw myself within all of it. So it was pretty cool.
And we did have a question about, just on the topic of Karen Carpenter, if you have ever covered one of her songs.
Yes. I recorded Solitaire on Uncover Me 2, I think the second record. And it was really hard to sing. So nuanced. And I couldn't sing it as low as Karen. She's an alto and I'm not. She can scoop those beautiful low notes.
Yeah.
But, and they say she did things in one take, that it was a really unbelievably magical time when she sat down to sing something, because she has perfect pitch and it would be complete in one take. I mean, they would probably do a few more just because, well, it's perfect, but should we do a couple more? It was kind of that vibe.
Is that song where it goes, and solitaire's the only game?
Yep.
Is that it? Oh my God.
Yep.
I just got a flashback because that was the song when I worked at Chum on the morning show. Marilyn would break into that song whenever we referenced her being single. I could hear her in my head when you said Solitaire. I was like, wait a minute, is that the song Marilyn would sing about being single?
Oh, it's a beautiful song. It's so orchestrated. I don't know who wrote it. Richard and Karen didn't write a lot of their material.
Let me find out. I'll look it up.
They had a lot of great writers.
Who wrote Karen Carpenter's Solitaire?
In my mind, it's by Marilyn Dennis.
Neil Sedaka.
Oh, Neil
No
Sedaka.
way.
That's
He's
interesting.
Composer, and it says Richard Carpenter, Leon Russell, and Gary Geld also are involved.
Okay. They might have done an arrangement.
It was originally recorded by Sedaka.
Oh, it's a cover?
On his 1972 album Solitaire. So there you go.
Oh my God.
Oh.
We're learning things.
God.
Love that.
Interesting.
Well, anyway, it's music is. Thanks for asking the question, because our parents, even subliminally, have a lot to do with kind of how we go forward, and we have such visceral memories of music that our parents played us. If I hear one more time in my lifetime of someone that comes up to me just randomly and said, "My mom or my grandma played you in the car all the time," and I have such fond memories of singing along to you with my mom. And it's just part of their memory banks. And I'm so glad to have that little shard of my work be part of, people growing up. It means a lot.
Oh, yeah. I will say, I bet you my mom was like a Chum FM and CHFI P1. Like, which in Radio Land, that's like code for like the diehard listeners.
Yeah.
Like, it was just always on. How many times do I remember being in the backseat of the car when I was a kid and hearing dip 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 dip.
Annie Lennox.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was always playing on those
I
stages.
loved Annie Lennox.
I used to say it all.
I loved Annie Lennox so much. That was a big one. The Eurythmics were
Yeah.
huge. Little Bird, my mom, we played Little Bird at our wedding, and my mom hit the dance floor hard and was like this, because the opening, it's like a real dance song. But I loved when she was in the Eurythmics. They had this weird, like techno-y song called Beethoven, and the
Oh.
cassette cover, I was obsessed with it because it was like her homage to, because she always played those characters. It was her homage to Marilyn Monroe. Oh, I still remember that. Music is great.
I'm going in one more direction here because I'm going to connect this to the Eurythmics. Extracurriculars as kids is another question that came in.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I've talked to you guys about dance competition.
No, I don't.
Oh, I haven't?
I blacked this out of my memory if you did.
You did
We
dance
had-
competitions?
Yeah, we were always sort of like for competition working through those pop culture moments at the time. And I had a really cool dance teacher named Stacy who pulled stuff from, back in the day, but also new stuff. So like I remember having a dance to like Hella Good when that No Doubt song came out.
Sounds so
But
good.
But also in the same time frame to the Eurythmics, sisters are doing it for themselves.
So that was with Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
It was Annie. It was a whole group of them. Yeah.
And I had this like red fluffy thing.
Was that recorded for the First Wives Club soundtrack?
I
It was
wanna
on the
say-
soundtrack. That's all I know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, dance competition was me. I danced growing up. I had like 3 nights a week at the dance studio, usually. How about you guys?
I was in Baton, very early days.
Cute.
So
Things I did not know.
well, it's I had the baton for a long time, and that's such a really bizarre memory for me. It was seeing this little tiny baton. I mean, it was little, and it always looked so big to me, but I couldn't do any of the stuff. I couldn't twirl it or anything. And I remember Mom driving me to this community hall, and there would be like kids in there just frickin' throwing batons all over the place and trying to do the spinning. But I remember little competitions of being on like a little mini stage and the parents
Yeah.
sitting out in the audience and having the outfit on that my mom made. And then she finally let me quit because I was such a tomboy.
Mhm.
And I wanted to play softball, and I wanted to play basketball and volleyball, and I wanted to do all the things. But I mean, I was a little older when that started, but yeah, 5 or 6, 7 years old, baton baby.
I sprained my ankle and started working at Dairy Queen. That was the end of dance. Okay, Caitlin, what
That's
about
very
you?
different. I did dance when I was really little. So I liked the costumes because you would do the like recitals, and we had really nice
yeah.
costumes. Like I was a little bluebird one year. I was a sailor for tap. So like there were all
tap.
these. Yeah, like I did tap dancing. I did like jazz. I did ballet when
Aw.
I was like a little
did-
kid.
Yeah.
No like competitive in high school or anything like that. And then swimming I really liked. I liked swimming a lot. But it was just me with like my like swim coach. Like I just did like laps, and I just loved the feeling of being so tired
In the
at
water.
end. In the water, and like the feeling of exhaustion after, and I was in good shape, but you're a kid. So you're doing like 50 laps and you just feel so good after. And yeah, and I did choir. I was in the Toronto Youth Choir. What else did I do? That was pretty much it. I mean, I wasn't a joiner. I didn't really care for sports. I liked softball. I liked baseball. Like I would go to a batting cage when I was a little kid. I found that very
Batting
cute.
cage. Ooh.
I loved going to a batting
Fun.
cage. I was a designated hitter on my baseball team because
Wow.
I mean, in the outfield, I was just wandering around, staring off into space with ADD. Like a ball could hit me on the head, and I would be like, "Oh wait, is the game still happening?" Like I was not good.
I
Oh,
got hit
God.
in the face. My nose has a bump. I got hit in the nose at day camp with a dodgeball. Explains so much.
See,
Well, I'm
I
telling
was right.
you,
Designated hitter. So way to go.
sports saved me because where we grew up, like out here, that was the only game in town. There
Mhm.
wasn't a mall to go hang out in, or it was always extracurricular, or just sports.
What position did you play again in softball?
I was a catcher and a pitcher.
Cool.
So I did both.
Oh.
I did both positions really well. So depending on what
Jeez.
they needed.
Are we still talking about baseball?
Surprisingly, my knees are really great. Like I don't have any complaints about hips or knees, and I was on my haunches for years. I
Oh my
played
God.
baseball for 10 years.
That's
And
wild.
yeah, I don't have any problems. And at 63, I've had a lot of friends of mine that have had freaking hip replacements already and knee replacements. I'm like, what did you do, or what didn't you do?
Mm-hmm.
I almost worried about that from dance. Like, you know how you like, there were some classes where we would go just to like stretch and do better at the splits. And like, that can't be good for all your things.
I mean,
you cannot tell me that. Okay, if you're watching YouTube right now, Sarah is showing
He's
us
a
her
dream.
outfit. It's so cute. You're adorable.
Okay, wait, there's one more
I
I
love that
have
they
to
made
show
you
you.
pose like that, though. That was the
Okay.
thing. I remember those photo shoots that they would do with your outfits, and they would give you these dramatic hand placements. And oh my God, that's adorable.
Jeepers, that's awesome. She's doing
This
the
was
splits, folks. She's sprung
Like a
into
jump
the
up.
air, and it could be a Winnipeg Ballet advertisement on a billboard.
this was my one and only solo dance that I ever had, and the song I was dancing to is the dirtiest song of all time. It made my mother very uncomfortable. Prince 319. Have you ever looked at the lyrics of that song?
Sarah, like, does anyone screen the
319.
music for you people, you young people?
Anyway, yeah.
Oh.
You, Caitlin had a, while we were talking, what was that about? I feel like
Oh,
something
no, I've
came
forgotten.
up. Oh,
My
Well,
brain, my
listen,
hamster brain is gone.
I'm loving these questions. What's next?
Me too.
okay, Caitlin, where are we going next?
Where are we going to go next? Hold on one second. My document closed.
Where are we gonna go next?
Where we gonna go? Okay, wait, hold on.
Good questions,
here.
everybody.
From this is from one of our only Jans on Patreon. It's from Tammy, and she says, "Hi, Jan, Sarah, and Caitlin. My question is: do you struggle to allow yourself to have downtime when you are such busy people? What strategies help you find balance?"
Sarah?
She came to me first.
Well, listen, you guys, everyone's busy. I mean, between motherhood, the shit you got to do, you got 14 podcasts on the network. I mean,
they're all my children. Okay, so I would say I definitely struggle with this. Working on my boundaries all the time, a constant. And I think I've sort of talked about the dog being like a key in helping me sort of just be in the moment a little bit. And similar to how Caitlin has talked about like seeing joy and Will kind of every day. Like when I'm with the dog and we're just on a walk, I try to forget about what's going on the phone. I try to just be like present. So that is helping me a lot. That's one of my things. But yeah, like having, it's one thing to have a Jan and Caitlin, but there's 16 other people. So there's a lot going on. Yeah.
I too am going to throw my dog stuff in the ring for just relaxing. Even when I'm working, his attention span is 20 minutes, 25 minutes. He can sit with me. And then he wants the door open in the patio, especially when the weather's nice. And he wants to play a little bit. So, I'm on the floor chucking something around or, even after an hour or so, a couple of hours, he and I will go and just flit around the yard so he can smell stuff. And that reminds me, it gives me a big break too. But when I'm home, I'm home. I have friends for dinner a couple times a week. I love to go to bed early, but I don't go to sleep early. So don't make fun of me. I like to sit, really comfortably. I'm got pillows around, and I love to read, as everybody knows. And I always write in my journal. So that takes me about 20, 25 minutes to write about my day, whether it's something really banal or if it's something really special that's happened to me or something that's bothering me or something I'm worried about. I write it down. I try not to censor myself. And all those seemingly little things really help me. So
that's great. Yeah. I would say when I do it, it's always running. I've said this before, but like I love running and I save certain songs for running specifically. And I've definitely damaged my hearing, but I think it's worth it because I love listening.
Just listening loud.
I love listening loud. I love something so loud. That's the radio person in me. I love my headphones so loud that I can't think about anything else. And so that feels good. I'm a sucker for like cleaning videos. I love cleaning. I stress clean myself, but I clean so much that I often run out of things to clean. And so I watch videos of people cleaning like a true freak. And, but it's like ASMR adjacent, like, a woman teaching you how to fold things, but using a really calm, relaxing voice, like that will put me to sleep.
So funny.
And yeah, I mean, like a walkabout, I always like, podcasts. Like I live with my AirPods in. My AirPods die at least 2 to 3 times a day. They do not leave my head. I am always listening to something, or I'm on the phone or whatever. So I feel like that stuff really does help me kind of take it all down a notch.
This episode is going to come out, I believe, while I am in Italy, and there's a yoga retreat as part of my trip. So interestingly, they've suggested like a journal practice that they're going to continue while we're there. And like I've journaled on and off my entire life, but I've really fallen off lately. So, I'm excited to get back to that. I think that's a part of it too. But they're doing silent mornings, which I'm also looking forward to. I think I'm looking at this as a recalibration so that when I come back, I can apply these things to my Toronto life.
Take the opportunity to really, exactly what you said, transition into the 2.0 version of Sarah Burke.
Sarah 2.0.
Because we really do need to stop. And exactly what you said is recalibrate, because you can go and go and go and go, and you don't realize it's almost like getting maintenance on a car. You suddenly look at your dashboard, you got all these warning lights going off. You need air in 2 tires. Your oil's low. And,
is this a Fountain Tire announcement?
This is, if you want to get something done, go to Fountain Tire if you want to recalibrate your car. Okay? I'm telling you that right now, because you can just tell them the Jann Arden pod sent you. They'll figure out what your discount is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Show notes, sale until June 14th. Moving on.
But yeah, it's good for you. I'm excited for you. And I'm really hoping that Caitlin and I get lots of pictures from said retreat.
Yeah, hopefully of some hot Italian men as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes. One can only dream.
Okay, next question. You want me to pick this one?
Yeah, I'm liking not being involved in the choosing.
Okay, this is funny. So this came through as a voice note, which I listened to, but the audio quality was really weird. So I'm just gonna summarize. Okay. Alicia is 47 and, obvious to her age, going through some changes in her body, including her temperature being skyrocketed. And she said that she got into like a bit of a war with her husband, temperature wars in the house. And she said, has there been anything in current or past relationships that you would discuss? Like, what battles are not worth it? What hills are you willing to die on? I like that question.
God, sleep is tough. I'll jump out of the bag on this one. A lot of my friends, because I am single somewhat, although I sleep with my dog, and he prefers a cool bedroom just like me. So we're very like-minded that way. I have a lot of friends that sleep in different bedrooms for that very reason. And it saves them a lot of contention. They have good marriages. But yeah, if the spare bedroom has been suddenly modified from a storage place for the treadmill and extra laundry into an actual functional, nice room where, you can go and have a good night's sleep. And it's not to say you can't go and have some loving in the evening and, fall asleep together. But I think to have the option, if your wife is superheating up or if your husband is snoring or moving his legs around, you have an option to get up out of bed and go get a good sleep. So, and that's important. I don't think people were meant to sleep together, myself personally, all night. Yeah. I don't know if I can ever return to that, but it's what you're used to. My dad used to always complain about my mom. Jesus Christ, she puts her goddamn frozen ice feet under my thighs all the goddamn time. And my mom will just roll her eyeballs back in the day, but my dad was my mother's heating pad.
That's so funny.
How are you and Kyle on that front?
Oh, great. Like, I can't imagine. I sleep worse when he's gone, and same for him. Like, when we go to sleep in other hotels or we're like, I just don't, when he travels and I'm here solo, I just do not sleep well because I'm so used to the sharing.
That breaks my heart.
Really?
Yeah. It's cute.
Cutest.
And like his side of the bed remains untouched. Like when he comes, he laughs and we'll make the bed the morning he's like leaving to go somewhere. And he'll be like, I'm going to come back. And that side of the bed, the decorative pillows will like still be there. It'll still be tucked. And it's true. I just stay on my side of the bed. And when we both sleep the same, we like a cold, dark room with the noise machine on. It's like you can cuddle a bit, but then you go to your respective sides. We have a king bed. So like, it's not like, it's not a problem. We're great co-sleepers.
You like a swaddle almost.
We do. We both are like children. Like we're like little infants. Just we want to curl up in our bed. And then I still like to look over. I love looking over at like your person when they're sleeping and be like, oh, they're cozy over there. Okay, back to bed.
So cute.
No, it's great. Listen, I've been in relationships where I've definitely slept with people, and there was an
Period.
adjustment period. I mean, in my last 10-year go around, I know that it took me probably a year and a half to figure out who's where, and we found out very quickly that I can't be spooned. Like,
Yeah.
if I fall, I'm just
Title of
too
episode,
hot.
I can't be spooned.
I won't be spooned. I can't do it either. We'll never fall asleep touching. I've never fallen asleep touching another person in my life.
I mean, when you have someone that's their go-to and they're asleep.
Get off.
So you're just like, you feel like you've been in a, I feel like I'm going to have to gnaw my way out of this position. I'm going to have to bite off an arm to get out of here.
The only person who can do that with me is Will. And I will stay awake the whole night.
Cute.
And he could sleep on me, karate chopping my face, and I'm not going to interrupt him. But yeah, not for a partner. That would be like, this person was asking, like, what would you never be able to do, or what hill would you die on? Like, yeah, that wouldn't work for me. Someone who wants to fall asleep like legs intertwined, like I could not.
This is what it was. It wasn't a simple leg, and plus a heavy
like
leg
interlocked,
like laid over your. I don't know. I just got too hot. But in my defense, I was in the throes. I was in my 50s, and I was just so hot. I was changing my pajamas all the time. I mean, there were some nights that I got up and I had a quick shower and put new PJs on. It was just burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno is what was going on with me. But then I got up and I made eggs on myself, which was very handy. Didn't even need a camp stove. You can just fry them on my back.
Pull stovetop Jann.
Had I stayed in my last relationship, he was a big snorer. Like, and there were points okay, I have a tiny couch. Like, if I laid on this couch horizontal behind me, I'm in a 1-bedroom condo, my feet would be off the end of it. And I would come out here and sleep on it because I just couldn't. Like, it was that bad. Add to it the spooning, and then the snoring's in your ear. So I had found my process to get him to like stop when it would wake me up. I would do a little shake. He would be like, okay. He would stop snoring, and then it would stop for a little while. It would buy me some time
to get to hopefully fall asleep. Yeah.
Fall asleep again, and until it would come up again. But yeah, I remember. And when we talked about the ick factor, when I had decided, I'm done with this. I have to find the right time to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, that last night where he was snoring in my bed, I was so angry. I don't even know. Like that morning when he came to kiss me to say goodbye and go to work, I was like, get the hell out of here. Like,
it's like something is snapped.
Yeah.
It always is a bit disconcerting when you think of how our emotions, you get to a wall with attraction and you just know it's not the right person because obviously it's your body kind of sending signals.
Slept. You haven't slept well.
But it is amazing that you start out, so hopeful and in love with this person and nothing they do bugs you and all of that. And then slowly, but it doesn't always seem slow though. It can literally go from one afternoon to the next evening where you do have the ick. Like you're just like, I cannot do this.
But back to the like dying on, what hill would you die on? I would say you need to be like mentally aware and like, not that I need you to be in therapy, but I need you to be aware enough of your own emotions. What's that called? I feel like, Caitlin, there's a
self-aware?
word for this. Well, yeah, it is self-awareness, but yeah, like if you're not emotionally mature, that's a
you need you're like, I need your EQ to be adult level,
so we can communicate though. Like, so the hill I'm not willing to die on is if you can't communicate right properly. Yeah.
Mine is more tangential. I'm like, you cannot be messy. You cannot be messy. You cannot have a messy house. You cannot have a messy.
I can't be messy.
I can't have it. If I get in your car and it's
messy, I cannot leave a dish in the sink before I go to bed. It is out. It is washed.
And personal hygiene, huge for me. Huge. Like, I need a freshly showered man who has gum at all times. You better have a great cologne. Like, I don't want a wayward smell coming my way. And I am a heavily scented person, but that's not for me. And I'm not talking about like if you're sick or whatever, like those things happen, but there are just some people who they don't take care of themselves. They don't do their laundry often enough. And I just I have the weakest stomach. And when I tell you this, I'm not being hyperbolic. It does make me physically feel sick. So I can't be around it.
Oh, you would have hated the guy I dated who was like on protein kicks all the time, obsessed with the gym and like eating tuna fish so much that I was like, she's
Stop
just
it.
having a
Gonna throw
visceral
up.
reaction.
Stop
I'm
it.
gagging, and I know who you're talking about. The over fitness people. There are some people who like I can smell their photos on Instagram, and they are just like they are in the gym. They are in the gym, and then they post a picture of
The
their
gym
dinner.
is in them.
The gym is truly in them, and then they post their dinner, and it's like a plate of farts. It's just like boiled chicken and broccoli, and they're like, "Oh, I'm protein loading." I'm like, you get away from me with this.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so hopefully
All
we
right.
answered that, Alicia.
And that's our show. Good night.
Okay, Caitlin, you're up.
Ooh, okay, wait. I had mine. My phone keeps closing. Okay, here it is. So, for all of you, if you weren't in the professions you're in now, what would you like to do? And this is from Jillian, another only Jan.
Well, we've had similar questions, and I'll just say right off, but I've added on to my list. So archaeology is still very, very high on my list. I will do a dig. I got a metal detector from Chris, and I've actually found some like little cool things in my yard. I think you guys recall that I found
I
a
love
silver
that.
dollar
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
out in my yard. It was the greatest day of my life, and I have it with me. But I think I would also really enjoy being a tour guide, like for historical sites. Like if I could have a summer job taking people through the Tower of London and like just learn the shit.
I'm
and
going.
learn all
I'm
the
going to go
stuff.
next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fascinating. Or like Kensington Palace, where Queen Victoria was born. And like if I could do that, I think that would be so fun to be a tour guide and have my fucking people following me with my flag down the street and just be annoying.
I could see you doing something in partnership with the government of Canada. Dear Mark Carney, if you're listening,
Yep.
maybe there's an official Jann Arden sort of guided historical Canadian tour. I think that you'd kill it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Anything where I could be funny and, point out facts and stuff. Okay, that's mine.
Funny and facts. That's our girl.
Yeah,
That could be your next podcast.
Yep.
Factually funny. Okay.
Okay, I like that a lot too. Okay, Sarah, you go.
Oh yeah. So I think I have also talked about this before. Love going to the dentist a little too much. I would be a dentist.
Really?
Love the dentist. Like I remember saying this before, but when we were in like grade 1 or 2, they made you put on the wall, in the year 2020, I will be. And I literally, from the youngest age, was like, I will be Dr. Bimbasset. I will literally be my dentist. Like I still love going, and I still go to my pediatric dentist.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Oh my gosh, is right.
I'm a teeth girl.
Okay. I mean, do you
I
think you could
think- I
poke an
think we're all
abscess though?
Ugh.
See? Can't be a dentist.
But I feel like that I could be a hygienist. Maybe a hygienist.
One of my girlfriends is a dentist, and she is sick, and she loves that stuff. She's like, I live for an abscess. Like she can watch those like pimple popper videos. Absolutely. Under no circumstance could that be me.
I can't watch that shit. I just can't do it.
I will
Okay, I'm
bark. My
walking it
mouth
back.
starts to. I can't. My
Your
mouth is
turn.
filling up.
If you're just
Your
tuning in,
If you're just tuning in, it's things that make us barf. I used to, and I've said this before, I used to want to be an animator. I still wish.
Oh yes.
I still wish that I could bring what is in my brain onto a page. That I find quite challenging because I have very, very vivid dreams. I have a lot of thoughts, and I wish that I could ever get them down on anything. And I can't. I don't have the skill. So I do like that. And I grew up being obsessed with, like sickly obsessed with Calvin and Hobbes. And I always kind of wanted to do that. So that would have been fun. But I do believe I have a natural skill for almost like not fully makeovers, but like personal shopping. I don't know if that would be a stylist or that would be, but my friends enlist me all the time to help them shop for a vacation or shop for an event. And one of my formative and great memories in life was one of my uncles or aunts was going shopping, was getting married. And my grandmother from Prince Edward Island, and she was a little bit insecure about how she looked. And she had been saying this, like, I'm going to this big city wedding and I feel nervous. And I went shopping with her. And I went to a department store. I forget which one it was, but I picked out her outfit, and she felt so good in it. and she looked so beautiful. It was like this beautiful lavender. It just was so her. It was the perfect choice. And I was probably all of 10 or 11 years old, but my whole family knew I loved clothes and I loved to shop. And she wore that to almost every single family function. And she credited me with picking it out. And I really remember how it made her walk taller and feel better. And I just was like, this is something. Like, there's something to putting together a great outfit for someone, especially
you
if
and Meredith Shaw might be going.
I mean,
you should go into biz.
She's the ultimate of that. But yeah, I have friends who do that. And I love the challenge of like, here's my budget, here's where I'm going, here's the event, here's the things I don't like about my looks, here's the things I do. And then you work with it and come up with something that makes everyone feel good. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's going to come in handy when we do the trip where we have to go pick out outfits for each other at Value Village.
I would be so good at it.
The Bachelorette, you mean? Not just any trip, the Bachelorette.
Jan's Bachelorette.
Yeah. Should we do another voice note now?
Yeah.
Yes. Voice note. Here we come.
This is Cheryl calling from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Oh, I love Cape Breton.
And just wanted to let you know that you guys are doing a great job, as you know you are. I really enjoy your stories, your honesty, and you guys have great chemistry. And yes, I'm just recently retired, the end of January, so I'm same age as you, Jan. And we do play a lot of pickleball. We enjoy that, but now we want to get out and maybe do a little traveling. And I know, Jan, that you had done some cruises. Just wondering if you're going to be doing any more in the future, or
2 more.
If you have any tidbits or advice on, the whole traveling thing, and what companies are good and to go with, and yeah, just overall general advice. Thank you. And you're, like I said, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. There's so many options out there, and it certainly doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. What I would recommend, just to start out, I mean, you're just recently retired. For heaven's sakes, go online, punch in wherever you are. If it's Cape Breton, Moncton, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Thunder Bay, punch in day trips from, wherever you are. And you will get, like, whether it's Chat GPT or just the internet in general. Chat GPT will really help you. But just say, what are day trips? We want to have lunch. We want to antique shop. We would like to pet some animals. Do you know what I mean?
Whatever you want. Yeah.
And you will find something. Start going out, getting your feet wet. There are so many travel websites. I can't even begin to name them all.
There's almost too many.
There's just so many. Take your pick. Go on, and I would put yourself on there where you're looking for deals or looking for, when this drops beneath $400, you get an alert. And you know what? You can learn to do that stuff really quickly. If I can learn how to do it, you can. The cruises that I do, it's a paid job for me, so it's a little bit different, and I totally understand this. But I'm doing a Christmas market cruise the end of November, starting, I believe, in Budapest. And
this is my dream trip, Jan.
Yeah, so I
love a Christmas market.
It's all Christmas markets. And it's with Scenic Cruises. I've worked with them for quite a number of years. They are fantastic. They are top of the line. These cruises can cost you anywhere from like $5,000 to $9,000, $10,000, depending on what kind of room you want. All of that. But keep in mind, all your food and all your drinks are included. Yeah. So when you go on holidays, vector that in, because you might get a trip for $1,500, like a flight and a hotel room, maybe for $800 for the week, but your food and drink can really skyrocket that. Or, anyway. And then I'm doing another one next May. I am going on the super yacht again that I was on in Fiji, the Eclipse 2. And I will be starting in Barcelona and going through the Mediterranean to Portofino and all through that. And I'm doing 2 concerts on that ship. So that's a pretty spectacular trip as well. If you've always wanted to see Spain and Italy, yes.
Oh my God.
So
Fiji, Spain, and Italy can all be on the same trip?
No, Fiji is a whole different
the other
thing.
one.
Oh, this is the cruise I did last year.
But the same boat.
It's the same yacht.
Okay.
So it's
Wait, can I change my desired profession to be a singer on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny. But like I said, you can find Royal Caribbean. You could, you know, everyone is going to complain about some aspect of whatever cruise they were
For
on.
sure.
You know, you're not going to find this perfect thing. The experience is going to be your attitude going into it. You realize that if you're going to get onto a ship with 3,000 other people, there's going to be some issues.
And who you
But
travel with.
yeah, and who you
matters.
travel with. But get out there. There's lots of deals to be had, and people are vying for you to be on these excursions. Anyway, good luck with that. I'm really, really, really happy for you. And
Happy retirement,
Yeah,
Cheryl.
congrats on the retirement. That's huge.
Okay. Pick your next adventure.
Do we have any other voice notes? I like a voice note.
Yeah, we've got 2 more. We've got 2 more for today's show, but we do have a lot of questions. I feel like we should get through
let's get to a couple more questions.
Yeah.
We do love hearing from everybody.
Okay. So I feel like this kind of can connect with all of us at some point in the last year or two. Laura asked, and Laura is one of our only Jans. If
Hi, Laura.
there is a health crisis in your family, how do you stay positive or handle that? Any tips or strategies?
Well, I went first last time, so I think, you know, Sarah, I want you to speak to this just because everyone knows that we went through a pretty big health scare with you. Caitlin has had stuff with her mom as well, but maybe you want to address the stuff with your dad.
Sure. So I feel like this week might be exactly 1 year anniversary at the time we're recording this. So yeah, I think what happens for me anyway, that maybe wasn't productive looking back at it now, is like the overcare, what can I do? Like, I think I was like up my dad's ass with that. And I think that he was kind of like, can you just chill? So I think it depends. I would almost put that in the same box as like the toxic positivity kind of, even though it's different. But you're like, the only thing I know how to do right now is try to be helpful. Like, I don't know anything else. So I don't think that is the way I would do it now. You know, I'm thinking back to like this one weekend at the cottage where my dad opened a notebook of like passwords and was telling my mom, here's the password to this. You know, that is really doom and gloom and scary. And, you know, this man came out of it with a perfect surgery, everything taken care of. And like, we've been clear with every scan since. So we're very lucky, very grateful for the healthcare he received. But I do think you need to stay positive, but maybe not put it on everyone else.
Yeah. I always say don't pre-traumatize yourself. I think some people believe that if they go through these worst case scenarios, they're going to be better prepared emotionally. And spoiler alert, you're not. If bad things come to pass, you're just going to have lived it 50 million times in 50 different scenarios that didn't happen exactly as it will end up happening. Like, it does not do you any good. I just think the second that I figure out, or I can manage to get to the place where I compartmentalize, which for me is helpful. So if I can keep things where they are, set aside a time, I call it worry time, but you set aside a time every day to like take on. It expires because after that, you're doing yourself no favors. But I do still want to acknowledge that voice in my head that, let's be honest, is just saying I'm a bit afraid of something right now, and say, okay, I hear you, voice. Like, we're on the same page. I get that you're freaked out about this, but so I'm going to give you your time, and then we have to like keep moving on with our day. So I think that part of it, as someone who like has had horrible things happen to them, I'm like this. The sun comes up every day after that, and so God forbid something horrible ends up ever happening to anyone listening to the show. Personally, you know, I hate to break it to you, but the sun's going to keep coming up, and you're going to have to pay your bills, and you're going to have to like keep doing stuff. And it's super friggin' unfair, but like living it in advance is not going to make you better prepared when it does come to pass.
Going to like Jan's parents, I even think about what you said when you just started, like your mom, when she wasn't making sense, instead of trying to explain it and correct it, you kind of let go at one point, and you were like, no, this will be better if I just kind of go along with this. What's your strategy in those types of moments?
Well, I asked for help. I think that was one of the main things that was kind of missing from my equation. I was trying to manage everything and kind of keep
Right.
secrets and not let people see that it was pretty unraveled around my place. And, it seemed like garden variety memory loss to me, I think, initially. And then it escalated very, very quickly. And I knew that they couldn't really cope for themselves over there. There was just water left running and burners being left on and doors being left open and dogs being fed bags, of white bread with milk poured on top of them. They were losing everything. I asked for my friends. I said, I don't know what's going on. And this was before the medical diagnosis. But I think, once it starts happening, once you're in for the ride with your parents, you have got to make sure that you don't that you're not too hard on yourselves and not feeling guilty for not doing enough. You're doing enough. If you're looking after them twice a week, that's enough for what you can manage. If you've got a family and kids and a job to go to, one thing your mom and dad would understand, they love you. They don't want you to be buried. Even if the version of them is going, I haven't seen you for a year, and you're like, oh my God, I spent all day yesterday with you.
Yeah.
You just have to laugh. You have got to laugh. You have got to see the humor and the absurdity, the audacity of memory loss. Once I just went where my mom went because she couldn't come where I was going anymore, but I could go where she was going. I could go all kinds of batshit crazy on that. Well, there's an East Indian man in my closet with a baby. Well, fuck. I started laughing. This went on for months.
Oh,
There's an East Indian man in my walk-in closet with a baby. And I said, what's he doing? Jan, if I knew what he was doing, I wouldn't be telling you. I'm just like, okay, God, all right. But it just made me laugh. You got to laugh.
As per our recent recall episode, right, with Gavin Crawford, that's exactly what he did with his mom too.
That was fantastic of Ask Me Anything questions. But guess what? If you're a Patreon member, we got part 2 of these questions, and we've saved, some pretty juicy ones for the other side of this fence. So we thank you to all our Only Jans for signing up for that. And it's not too late. You can go sign up today if you want on Patreon, and you can click on and you can hear what we're talking about. You can also get yourself in on a lot of great conversations that listeners have amongst themselves. We post new stuff every week, just stuff that we're doing. And of course we have the $7 tier, which is our book bag. It's a book club we do every month. We do a big live Zoom and everyone can talk about the book and what they thought about it. And it's been a riot.
So fun.
Our new book is Eliza Reed's Death on the Island, and that has just come out. So we're going to have Eliza on in a few months to kind of do a recap. And if I can talk her into it, I might be able to get her to come on our Zoom call for 20 minutes. And that's what I'm hoping. So that you guys can ask her questions. We've kind of been, throwing that idea around, and I haven't mentioned it to Eliza, but you know what? I think she's up for it. But yeah, she hasn't said no because I didn't ask her yet. But anyways, yes, go ahead, Sarah.
With all the stuff that we have going on right now, we planned this Ask Me Anything episode to sort of like bridge a little bit of Jan's tour and some traveling. And so just know that if you're in our Patreon tier, Jann always shares stuff on the road while she's on tour as well. And I will try to pop on with a couple things from my trips too.
I did a whole random just Caitlin's thoughts, 12 minutes the other day.
It was fantastic. Oh my God. I watched it. It was so cute. Yeah. So we surprise ourselves, but it's really fun. And we appreciate you guys helping us bring this content to you every week. Thanks for listening to the Jann Arden Podcast and Show with Sarah Burke, Caitlin Green. We'll see you next week. Toodly-doo.